Chapter 28, My Fish. Michael then pictured that one Momo he had seriously injured when he snapped his leg in half by chucking a dumbbell into it. And after a while with the image in his head, Michael grew squeamish. You know what? Fuck that. No one got killed in that, although I don't think they did. No, no one did. And that's all that matters. That wasn't like the tropic. Shit got really intense in there. Too intense. But then Michael thought about what he was going to do once he got to Madboy. Nah, that's different. That's personal. Getting those numbskulls to try and burn down Mary's building, he was going to put my sister's life at risk just to get to me. No, that's different. He's really got something coming to him. Piece of shit asshole. That's some low down and dirty shit right there. Pussy ass, bitch ass coward. You were going to murder my sister because you're too much of a coward to face me by yourself? Because you know I'd whoop your ass, and I've done it before. You're a bitch compared to me. You knew that. And that's why you lowered yourself down to the level of a dog. Oh, you got something coming. You got something special coming. Michael then imagined Madboy head popping open like that one Iron Monkey did at the Tropic and wondered if that would be going too far. My sister's face was almost burned to an ash. You know what? I think maybe that would be the right sort of justice for him. There. Yeah. Feeling like he was going to boil over, Michael felt like going for his rosary again. But as he looked down at his hand, he saw it was covered in blood. His blood. What the? Looking down into his side, Michael noticed he was bleeding profusely. Oh, you gotta be shitting me. I must have cut myself bad jumping over that 14-foot fence. And after all I went through at Big Dick's gym. Michael needed to find a means to bandage his wounds. And as he looked around the neighborhood, he remembered that LaToya's place was not too far off from where he was at right now. To Michael's luck, LaToya used to be a nurse, but seeing all the blood and gore at St. John's Hospital in Queens eventually got to her, which made her decide to quit. Well, I got no choice now, I guess. Hopefully she still lives in that apartment. I gotta get this tended lickety split, thought Michael as he smiled, seeing how this could be a chance to rekindle an old flame. Yeah, done enough fighting for now. Maybe that's why I'm still all hyped up. My mind's starting to race, and I hate when that shit happens. I need to get with the loving now to balance me out. Fuck, I'm feeling tense. Too tense. Like right after a good workout, you need something to relax the muscles and mellow them out. Unwind. Loving sounds like that could be the trick. Michael then saw a stray cat jump out of a trash can that lay next to him, hop right into his lap, hiss, and rush off. Michael got startled there for a second, but then smiled looking at the feline, and now stood on the other end of the alley licking itself. Yeah, I am one of the cat people. Just another mangy feline out for himself, like all the other cats around me. A mangy stray cat all alone in the world, always running about, scraping on by, finish the day licking his wounds. Going dumpster hopping to find himself some eats, hopefully a fish, and getting some before the other cats come scrapping, looking to put up a fight for whatever tasty morsel he might have found. And surrounding him and hissing and shit, well... Well, you can't have any of my fucking fish, my fish, mine. Michael then thought of the symbolism. Fuck, I love me some fish. Love the way it smells, too. Love the stink it puts up that would detract lesser felines, but not me. For I know the more stank it's got, the tastier it'll be. Gotta have it smelling up the joint like we had a Chinese market. If you want the good stuff, my fish. Michael then thought about LaToya, then how he fucked up Brumatics, smiled, but then thought of her. Why were you so... Michael then got up and began making his way to LaToya's place. If anything, I'd rather get with LaToya now. I didn't like how Brumadic was treating her there. Yeah, what the hell have you gotten yourself into, LaToya? You're better than dealing with garbage like that. LaToya and Michael had been close once. And seeing her at Stumpy's, it seemed she still had some feelings for him. Of course, a lot of girls did for Michael back then. Most women were easy for him, and he never had that much trouble flirting, showing some charm, which always made a lot of other guys jealous. Used to not understand why so many guys have so much trouble with attractive women, but one day it hit me in prison. Yeah, in prison you have a lot of time to think about everything and anything. But anyway, society today teaches women everything on how to attract a man, but teaches men nothing on how to attract a woman. And the fact of the matter is, it has everything to do with lust. And most people, when it comes to women, don't want that to be the reason. Fact of the matter is, men don't want women to lust because it places them at a disadvantage. Because society is built around catering to male needs, and everything it tries to teach women is how to cater to those male needs. When it comes to women's needs, they supposedly don't exist since they're not supposed to exist outside of having the need to satisfy a man all the time. And that's where I come in as a break in that equation. Then Michael began to think about what he really meant to be one of the cat people, at least in the league he was playing. If you want to attract a woman, it's all about playing the same game they do that makes them appealing. What is that game, you ask? Spending hours upon hours looking into the mirror, watching yourself, until you start to pick up all the telltale signs of what you really got to offer. Being narcissistic is a big part of it. And the hardest part for most guys, I'm pretty sure, won't get over, is you have to understand a male's sexuality. That, to Michael, was what he felt separated him from everyone else beyond just his very good looks and all. Here's the thing that all the fat, ugly people don't understand. Looks are 90% maintenance. Yup, that's the truth, Ruth. Right now, I'm a hunk, but that's because I worked hard to get this way. If I was to live the life most of the fugly people do, sitting around being a couch potato, drinking six-packs all day, while watching the 49ers, watching other people play sports and achieve shit, paying zero attention to my own looks. If I was to do all that, guess what? I turn into a fat loser too. That's how it is. It's a choice, and a choice I decided to make because I wanted to have sex with beautiful women instead of sitting around feeling sorry for myself, watching other people live in that lifestyle. And it wasn't something predetermined either, me being born this way. Hell, during the years in prison, during a long stretch, there was a year I gained 40 pounds. And when I looked into the mirror, I was terrified to see I wasn't myself anymore. I was another one of them. I'm no longer a hunk, and that terrified me to think I'd stay that way. So, of course, that's when I started doing the old regimen more, started hitting the gym more to lose that weight. Then, presto changeo, I was back to being gorgeous me again. So it's all a choice. Looks is a choice. It's not something that's predetermined. You gotta want to be good looking to be good looking. That or you can want a Big Mac with fries with some chicken nuggets on the side. And I know, it could get tempting to just say fuck it and go for the Big Mac instead, but that's all on you then. But then Michael thought about some of the monks he had seen and realized maybe, okay, fine, I guess there is some predetermination behind it. A God's gift and all. Take Mick Jagger. That dude is universally acclaimed as a beaver tail collector and connoisseur. But the guy is also universally acclaimed as a Guinness Book of World Records setting ugly motherfucker. So how do you explain that? How, I ask, how? Also, as a performer, he can't dance for shit and can't sing for shit, yet he's still as famous as he is. The only thing I can think of that would be a good reason is nothing short of selling his own soul to the devil himself. Michael then realized he might be onto something. Well, it makes sense, don't it? I mean, he's fucked a lot of chicks, a lot. And with that ugly mug like that, come on, that's got devil's trickery and tomfoolery written all over it. Without a doubt, that fool must have cut a deal with the Horned One and a very, very long time ago to get the chicks not get stuck up by the monstrous pucker of his. Now, I can understand why he did it, but damn, Mickey, I'm so very sorry of how ugly you turned out, but was signing with Satan really the answer? Although, then again, considering how evil Mickey and the company are, I don't see them having signed on with a contract with a big red goat. Mr. Goat for Brains was the one that signed a contract with them. And then Michael thought of that one other mug and shuddered. Okay, fine, you got me. There's no way in hell around that mug there. No amount of makeup maintenance, even Satan's black magic is going to make that mug look good. And part of the horror of reading his books is that moment that you have of closing the book, in contemplation of what you just read, you then turn the book around and wham! Yikes. You see a giant picture of that author himself, and you were already scared, and now even more so just looking at that ghoulish face of his. And with his books and that picture of him on the back, it's always a big-ass picture of the guy, a big, scary-ass picture. You staring at him staring right back. No books from any other writer have a picture of themselves as big as his. It's like the damn book editor knew what they were doing for making it so big. So if anything, it complements what he does for a living, trying to scare your ass and all, and it works for him. Anyways, anyone that's got the looks also knows that's not all that it really takes to cut it, really, either. Sure, it does its job initiating shit, but if all you got are looks and no feel or vibe, you might as well be a statue. And sure, statues can be pleasant to look at, but how you gonna fuck the inanimate thing? You need that fluidity and flow, that motion, the sturdy ocean. And as a man, you need to understand your sexuality. You need to understand the importance of charm, too. Beyond looks, back to the whole matter of looks and ugliness. I met some girls that no matter how hard they tried to look attractive, how much makeup they put on, they were born with a face that was never going to get them there. But when they smiled, I couldn't help but smile back. And there was this one girl I remember, she had a face of a donkey, but she charmed me into her bed. She charmed me. So yeah, charm. And that there was what Michael Phelps brought upon women in his life in abundance. Beyond just his looks, charm. While most other guys would barely manage pulling what can be counted on their two hands their entire lives, there's this thing called a male sexual aura, or a sexual aura, whatever. What it is the shit we got to offer. It's what makes women start licking and biting their lips, getting their blood to flow into their lips, tits, and sexual organs, and having them balloon up some and turn juicy red. Chemistry. What gets that biology chemistry flowing. If you want that effect on women, you have to learn how to ooze sex and make them want to beg for it, for a change. Just like how most women are taught how to ooze it out and get it to men, it works the same way, really, both ways. And personally, every time I see a hot mama, I immediately start imagining myself having sex with her. And thoughts influence your mood, vibes, and body language, and people around you can sense that. When women sense that in me, they immediately know what I'm thinking. And since I'm also, good looking, all I have to say is a simple hello and I'm already in the door. And have women trying to tear my pants off and get to my goods. But what most beta types, I feel sorry for them. Most of them are clueless. They either think being really, really nice is what's going to get their attention. That are coming off with a lot of hot air. It's all chemistry, really. A feeling. Just a feeling of one's own sexuality and how it correlates with others. That or possibly magic. Then, of course, there was that. Magic, and I mean real magic. But, of course, real magic doesn't. And that there was something Michael was still working on, trying to figure out within himself. But anyways, stick to practical science, shall we? At least for now. It's all chemistry and charisma. And I mean, all men have the ability to do all this. We're all born with it, but only a few know how to. Have learned to really tap into it. That's why you have what seems like 10% of men having sex with 90% of the women on Earth. At bars, I always see me and one other dude, night after night, setting them up, setting them swings up, getting to the plate, and hundreds of other dudes sitting at the bleachers looking all lost and confused. For all those lonely hearts, I'm pretty sure if they went to look at themselves in the mirror and tried to think about what makes them sexually appealing, they couldn't last 10 seconds without calling it quits out of fear that it might turn them into a homo or a freak. Men have to come to terms with their sexual nature if they want women to, and most men don't know how to vibrate it because they think men shouldn't have one. Because if they did, they'd be gay or something. And here's a ringer. If you really, really, really want to attract women, it's all about looking, acting, dressing gay as fuck. You want proof? Look at all those big hair metal groups today. Their music might suck, but they sure know what they're doing, dressing all in drag and putting up makeup and puckering up at the chicks in the aisles, and the women are by the horde loads running, stampeding, and trampling over themselves to get to them, just so they can start drop to their knees and start blowing. In the end, You have to thank David Bowie and Ziggy Stardust we can trust, but he didn't start no revolution, he just brought shit back. Honestly, I think this whole looking and acting and dressing like a male prude thing started 100 years ago. Because have you ever noticed how ridiculously gay men used to dress before the 19th century? Fuck. Look how gay the founding fathers dressed. George Washington with his fucking puffy white wig, knickerbockers which are tight-ass pants that go knee-length. Then he wore white stockings down to his shoes, and the shoes they wore back then were gay as fuck too, with buckles and bow ties on them and shit. Yeah, that's right, the first American commander-in-chief looked and dressed like an 18th century drag queen. I've read how he was also really good at dancer. He was a really good dancer, and being good at dancing equals being good at other things in the mind of a woman. Now look at the Shakespearean era, same shit, the shit they wore was gay as fuck too. I saw that Romeo and Juliet movie. What the fuck were the dudes wearing back then? Tights and jock straps worn over them to emphasize their crotches? Looking like a bunch of male ballerinas, a bunch of Baryshnikovs. Shit wore to emphasize their crotches. I wonder why they would wear such silly-ass gay shit like that. Fuck, you could go all the way back to the ancient Greeks, same shit, gay as fuck. All they wore back then were skimpy robes that looked like they just wanted to fall off. They were practically dresses held together with a button pin, and Alexander the Great's army was a bunch of beefy naked dudes going to war with hardly anything on. Would you believe that? Going out with their cocks out, slaying all their enemies on the battlefield, and then slaying all their enemies' women in other places. All in all together, you have thousands of years of men dressing gay as fuck. Why? Because back then I guess men understood the male sexual aura, and now only the rock stars do. Then Michael thought about what other guys would think. I bet those gay-bashing douchebags are the way they are because their sexual nature scares them. They confuse it for possibly that they might be homo themselves, and that's where all the homophobia stems from. Personally, I love the Marlon Brando thing since it also works without going pink. Well, not now, he's a fat fuck now. And that late 60s counterculture nonsense did a number on him. I mean, back in the 50s with Streetcar Named Desire and The Wild Ones. Those are the examples I've gotten to establish my own. Michael had pretty much seen the movie The Wild Ones over 100 times as a kid. You know one thing I hate about movies? People generally don't act like normal human beings would in them. All movies in the end are just fantasies of what people want to see, how they wish the world and the people in it were really like. But that man's performance, never seen anything more real in my life. Not even in real life itself. But anyways, if you don't want to dress and act gay as fuck, oh, you have to go old bad boy, and that really does the trick too. But deep down, women also hate that type. They see the evil in it, and the evil it puts into them, which makes them excited in ways they feel like they shouldn't. And because of that, there's a very fine line between coming across as a bad boy and coming across as a jerk. So you have to be careful. The difference is, jerks haven't earned the experience dealing with chicks and their own emotions when dealing with them, so their vibes are all over the place. I remember when I was 13 years old, all the girls thought I was the biggest piece of shit in school. And I really was back then, since I'd go around lifting up skirts behind them and go yeehaw, pretending to ride them like a bull. Plus I'd do other stuff like yanking their pigtails or making moaning sounds really loud behind their backs to startle them. I'd do all those horrible things, then laugh in their faces when they start yelling at me. Fuck, kids can be really evil. Michael smiled remembering those days and sort of felt like he missed being that little rascal. Who am I kidding? I still am. But anyways, once I got my shit down, got the experience to have it put on my resume, that's when they started calling me back for second and third and fourth interviews. But even now, I can still fuck it up and come across as a jerk. Especially if I mix feelings. Just goes to show, no matter how good you get, you always gotta keep it up. Keep up the practice if you want to stay the best. Same as fighting, fucking, hustling, stealing, or playing the cello. Everything really, it's all about keeping up the practice in the end. Then Michael thought about going drag himself. Fuck that shit. But honestly, if that's all it took, I probably would. And strangely enough, not just to bag chicks either. For a second there, Michael pictured himself dressing like George Washington, wearing a puffy white wig, knickerbockers, a Napoleon hat and all, and trotting through these mean streets trying to pick up chicks while getting all the attention of the tough guy acts around town. Michael chuckled. Fuck it, I'm doing it. and we'll still fuck up anyone who dares laugh at us. We'll call ourselves the Yank Me Doodle Dandies. We'll ride ostriches through the streets, beat the fuck out of punks with horse whips, and throw macaroni shells on their twitching bodies on the ground as our calling card. Also hit on chicks by tickling them with a feather that's attached to the end of our... Okay, that would be really stupid. And for that, we do it anyways. Damn, will we start some shit up with the scene we would cause? All that in the Bronx. Michael chuckled some more, then went back to the whole matter of being a prude today. Yeah, today it's all about being a prude. What you got now in the 80s is a bunch of sexually repressed freaks trying hard to be conservative. Forgetting about all that crazy shit they did back in the 60s and 70s, but then again, considering how all the drugs people were taking then, I can understand why most seem to have forgotten all about those years. But anyways, most guys can't attract women today because they're placing zero to no effort acknowledging what they got, like women will spend their entire life trying to understand it. Guys don't want to be sexually appealing, and I bet they would even think being charming is gay now, too. I mean, do you know how many hours I've spent in front of a mirror talking like Dean Martin trying to charm myself? Lots. You know how many hours I've spent working out, kissing my biceps? More than I can remember. Of course, then there's cats like those beefcakes and a lot of guys now that do that, but do it for all the wrong reasons. Michael then thought about those freaks. I do it because I want to attract women. I don't want to lust after them. I'd rather have them lusting after me. Have their mouths all watering up looking at my junk as much as mine does looking at theirs. Those freaks, I think for them it's just another form of dick measuring. I mean, why do I need a bod like Schwarzenegger if I can already fuck up a gang of them without, with what I got? I already got tone. Why go super mutant? Assholes. Everything always has to come down to the size of one's own member. I mean, mine is only about 6-7 inches that I get really excited. Not being serious. And really, a vagina is only 4 inches deep, so I haven't heard any complaints over my size as of yet. How much bigger does it need to get? I want to woo chicks here, the humankind. What point is there to go bigger unless I'm planning to start swimming with sperm whales and shit? Hell, I'm pretty sure with what I got, it will be enough to chop down that girl Sheila's tree and have that giant redwood of a woman screaming timber, too. All better than the rest of the beefcakes that big dicks, I bet, would be able to manage. Fuck, she looked horny in there. Like she hadn't gotten any in a long time, looking all antsy as she started dancing around a little in place, doing the pee-pee dance, but for her, doing the hurry up someone fuck me quick dance. Release some of this tension building up inside. But since I'm pretty sure none of those studs there have been willing to ride her just yet, all scared of her and shit, since she towers above most of them, that's why she looked so grateful to see me. Most of those beefcakes were scared of her because I'm sure her clit would be bigger than most of what they got. And that's why men hates women, generally. Because women make them feel emasculated. Funny thing with me, women make me feel emasculated too, but for me, I think I like it. Michael paused for a moment as he thought about that. Then went on with the guys like the beefcakes. So I bet with those freaks there, don't even have girlfriends or anything. They're just working out to stroke their own while being afraid that a woman might come along and bite it off. Fuck. All you got there are some hardcore narcissists machoing it up to see who can, win the biggest douchebag of the decade award and nothing else. Hardcore narcissists. You know the myth behind it, right? If you keep looking too deeply into your own reflection, you might slip, fall, and drown. Thought Michael as he pictured himself look into his own eyes and then got scared, for he started to feel lost in them, like he just fell into them. What the? Well, that was weird. I wonder what that was supposed to mean. Continuing on, Michael turned out of an alley and could now see Manhattan's skyline from a distance. Then there are the types that live in that city. Those rich assholes that try to buy their way into women. Women like LaToya. I mean, I can understand ignorance from the likes of Tomboy that don't know better. But the extremes those lizard people take things to is another story. They have no warmth, no grace, no charm, and no souls. They're not human, but they still yearn for the same things we do. So what you have there is a bunch of slimy, sleazy perverts who are loaded trying to hit on some supermodel-looking babes, think if they pay chicks off enough, They'll get them to admire their scaly bodies in exchange of admiring the warm body it got here. But of course, those creatures there have an advantage. Money is a weakness most women share. But still, they ain't attracted to them, not sexually, nor personality-wise, nor anything else-wise. They really hate them and find them disgusting. And 10 times out of 10, I'm pretty damn sure those hot babes married to those rich assholes are gonna be willing to kiss the end of my sweet dick before kissing their rich asshole husbands' wallets. Kiss that dick. Sure, those babes will stay with them when they need their bills paid off. They're gonna then sneak away and come straight to me when they want to get their rocks off. Yeah.